Hello guys, and welcome back to Space Engineers. So, I have completed my scouting mission, and now I'm going to show y'all a little presentation about it. Alright, let me just get the slide projector turned on here. Alright, so we have completed the scouting mission. Now, the first slide that we're looking at here is going to be one of the delivery vehicles. It appears to be a hovercraft of some sort, which is to say, those wheels that I thought were sideways are sideways on purpose, and they have their friction set to 0, and it just slides along on them. They do appear to have a Gatling turret mounted up top, which is far more accurate than the interior turrets we've been dealing with. Now here we see, on my way to examine the flight research area, a random structure I came across. It appears to be unpowered and more or less just a hunk of metal. Probably worth tearing down for parts, but I don't expect to find much in the way of useful stuff there. And now here is something that I saw on the horizon as I was moving, as the sun was coming up. This turned out to be a medical resupply station. Out in the middle of nowhere for who knows what reason. Didn't see any signs of life, but I didn't get too close to that one. Here it is from another angle as I was passing by. It may have some functional medical equipment in there, which would be definitely worth scavenging. Now this, I believe, was a refueling depot at one point, but as you can tell, it's reduced to pretty much a skeleton of what it used to be. It looks like there might be a single functioning solar panel there, so it'll be worth checking out. This building I can actually see completely through. There are no signs of life. Now we're starting to move on towards the Flight Research Center. From here we can see that they've actually got some turrets mounted far out. Do I have a closer picture? Yes, we do. So these turrets are placed around. Let me go back to the previous slide there. There are two of these, one on each side of the base, and they rotate around slowly. Those will have to be removed before any attempt on the base is made. Alright, here's a close-up on the base. They appear to have an antenna of some sort. It may or may not be functioning, I can't quite tell. There are interior turrets on the roof of the main building. Apparently I have two of that slide. Here's another shot showing some more of the turrets on the main building. They are scattered throughout the roof. There are definitely several of them there. It's hard to tell exactly how many. Alright, I believe this one was showing a possible way in. It looks like there may be an air vent on the roof. If we can neutralize some of the turrets, that may be a way into the complex without having to stroll through the courtyard. Yeah, that's nothing. Here's a shot of a nearby airbase that had nothing to do with that other slide. It looks to me like this airbase is heavily fortified. Several rocket turrets and several Gatling turrets. We'll have to make sure we keep our distance from that. I believe it is about 3 kilometers away from the Flight Research Center. Moving back to the Flight Research Center, there are 3 tiny hangars nearby. I can only speculate as to what's inside, but I can see that 2 of them have a roof-mounted turret on the inside. It looks like interior turret style. So at that range it might be dangerous. We'll want to find a way to neutralize that from outside if possible. Alright, this is showing just another angle. I believe this one is showing the second gun turret emplacement. And there's a fair amount of distance between the main building and the 3 hangar buildings. And I had 2 of that slide as well. And finally, in the window of the main hangar building, it looks like a partially constructed large jet engine. So this is definitely a target worth attacking, because that is some tech that we could use. Alright, so there you have it. Let me go ahead and turn the slide projector back off here. Alright. So, the next thing I would like to show you is unfortunate. This is the remains of the Prowler Mark II. I was going to do some of the upgrades on it I was talking about, and I accidentally cut the thing in half, to the point where rebuilding it would have been more difficult than it was worth. So, repairing it. Rebuilding it is what I did. Welcome to the Prowler Mark III. Now, this one has not been tested yet. This is in fact still on the build stand. But the systems are fully functional at this point. Let me give you a tour. Very much a similar setup where we've got the dual seats for the cockpit here. This one is running 2 of these oxygen containers, powered again by 2 batteries and 2 solar panels. They are retracting solar panels this time. And I did manage to find room to throw a Gatling gun on top. The other big change that I have made to this one is that we have a single large storage instead of 2 medium storages on it. And that allows us to actually throw in the connector here. And then we've got large storage access on top. I could probably throw another connector down there or something, I'm not quite sure. And once again, we have the mounted camera. I've readjusted the position of the light a little bit so the glare shouldn't be as bad in the lens. Now this one is fully and perfectly piped up so that I can actually access all of the inventory from the driver's seat. Now of course some of the things I can't pull in from the driver's seat, but due to a glitch in the inventory manager mod, it can still move stuff around if I had it running. Turn everything back on, and poof! It has gone into the oxygen generator, which doesn't have any ice in it, so it hasn't done anything but go into the oxygen generator. I did originally have it going into the oxygen tanks, but then I found for whatever reason I could not get them out again. So I'll take... And it shouldn't be able to go through that, and since I'm sliding the whole thing around, you can see my bearing there is working. That is we're a big fan of whip scripts, I'll tell you that much. So let me grab a full oxygen bottle back, and in fact I'll do some of that. Now the reason that we've got, I believe it's Tal'Darim's inventory manager on there, is quite simply so that we can chuck all of our stuff into the connector, and it's going to pull it out of the connector into the inventory, so we don't have to do any manual management of that. Alright, and we have our keys set up the same way. Of course, I've got the display panels here this time. The old one that you would have seen from the previous video shows the current status. The triangle, the yellow triangle, indicates that we have the camera deployed. And... oh god, you know what? I haven't tried to use... you know what? Let's show off the camera first, before I potentially blow this thing up. So, once again, we are on the hotkey control for the camera, which unfortunately is slow as dirt, which is fitting because we're looking at dirt. But we can pan the camera around this way. I did think of a way that I can change the speed on it without making it too horrible programming-wise. It actually requires me to hide an unused piston, an unused rotor somewhere on the craft. And that rotor essentially will store what my maximum speed is. I'll have it turned off so it won't actually be spinning, but I'll be able to read the speed from that whenever I need to, because the way this works, when I hold a direction, it changes the speed. When I let go, it changes the speed back to 0. So that's very much how that works. So, let us leave that. Actually, I'm going to jump out of the cockpit entirely so I can watch this, because I'm probably going to be watching it explode here. Which is the way of things. Do I have broadcast? No, I have broadcast on. The antenna's not on, though. Prowler. Enable broadcast. I don't know why enable broadcast keeps getting turned off. It's a little annoying. Alright. First thing that we're going to do is save, because if this thing blows up, I'm going to be sad wolf. Alright, let me grab Program Automate, and we're going to run the retract script. Oh, it looks like it's working so far. It's beautiful. And that is a thing of beauty. Locked. Ah, so she works. How are my batteries? Batteries are not yet full. What is... Oh, there's a construction component shipment so close that I can actually see it move without being any closer to it. It must be heading to that base. It's the only thing I can think. That's getting uncomfortably close to me, actually. Oh, it's increasing in distance, though. So, let me double check the level of uranium I have here, but I think we might be heading out. There's a little bit left. I'm gonna go ahead and grab it. Alright. Well, here comes the final countdown. Oh, I want to set my wheels. I don't think I've done that yet. Turn speed, power, probably about 50. Friction also about 50. Dampening, I want to say 30. Strength, I want to say 10 for the strength. Suspension travel, give that 50. Speed limit, about 150. Alright. Everything should now be set up. We're on the ground. Well, except that one. Alright. If it's going to be able to get over that, my guess is it won't. So we'll just get him out of the way. Oop. Ah, good. Alright. That should be enough for me to drive forward now. Dun 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 dun. Lights. Oh, she drives. She drives, and that is a good sign. Alright, well, for my first trick, I think we should drive. Well, she seems to handle alright at a start. We should drive to the ice mine, which I'm not seeing. I must have hidden it. I did. Show on HUD. Flight research, we can hide. Communication, we can hide. Weapon research facility, we can hide. If you are just joining me and did not see the reveal of the Prowler Mark II, may it rest in peace, Mabel had been very busy handing us some more waypoints. And we are not rushing to them because that would probably be a bad thing. Got just over a day worth of power. That's an actual real-life day, not a space engineer's day. The programming blocks are not actually able to tell how fast the sun rotates, unless you do something like have it monitor sun power and try and guess. So that is an actual 28 hours and 10 minutes that we have available on power, which should be plenty for us. Well, I'm not usually a fan of spilling the beans, but when I was setting up the slideshow, I knew I was going to pull that joke, and I was trying to find a pinup of like a full NASA astronaut costume, which I couldn't, or not costume, but full NASA EVA suit. I couldn't find one, and I have two theories as to why. The first is that those spacesuits are really rather cumbersome and really restrict movement, and it might not actually be possible to get into that position. The second is that NASA doesn't want anyone getting the wrong idea by allowing someone to do that even as a joke. It could very well be either of those. Alright, but we're coming up to the big hole in the ground I dug here. I don't have a drill. This is a great time to realize this. I did not store the drill either. The good news... Actually, now that I think about it, I might be able to find some ice in here. I want my lights on. So what I did was I put a waypoint at the bottom of the ice cavern, and I just drilled straight to it from the surface. And believe you me, this took a while. But it comes right out to this room. But I am thinking there are some containers up here that had ice in them, and I don't think I ever emptied them. If that's the case, the fact that I'm a derp and... okay? Right. This was the... yep. So the fact that I am a derp and completely forgot to grab my drill shouldn't matter. There's nothing in this one. Get out of my way. Alright, so this one used to have ice, and it does. In fact, I don't need these components for the moment. I want as much ice as you can give me. Alright, so what's going to happen? I'm going to throw the ice into the connector. It gets automatically drawn into the oxygen generator. But instead it got drawn into the large cargo container. Because the oxygen generator is not set to pull ice for some reason. Let me fix that. Oxygen bottle P1, ice P1. Now then, as I was saying, the ice automatically gets drawn into the oxygen generator, which generates oxygen and hydrogen and fills our bottles for us. We can see a similar effect by throwing those in and then taking them back again. Perfect! So for those of you who did watch the Prowler video, yes, it is true, we technically beat the game. I'm clearly not resting on my laurels for that. I did not make that a canon save. I beat the scenario in a very cheesy way that it turns out when I brought it up with the creator, I can't think of his name. I always forget your name. I apologize. He didn't realize that it was possible to beat the scenario that way. Near as I can tell. And the funny thing is, no one else I've seen seems to have thought of it either. In case you're wondering, the way we beat the scenario was we just turned... But that's not really in the spirit of it. I mean, G-Corp is basically... Why am I flying back down here? I don't need to fly back down here. G-Corp is basically controlling everything. Everything on this planet is stage managed by them. Of course they would have protected the... That's what we're assuming. That's why we're not just now. That's what I'm telling myself. That's how I'm going to sleep tonight. Oh, I think there's ice in here, actually. Oh, and another bottle. Sure, I'll take that. Did I... Okay, I did load the NATO ammo container. Couldn't be sure. And I should have more than 5. I thought I loaded 12. Maybe I had a bunch of junk in my inventory. I can only load 5. Well, alright then. I do believe our next course of action... Oh, that's right. So there's a couple of other places that we can visit on the way. And that's very much what we'll be looking to conquer first. So, what I... Actually, let me turn off my light, because we can just use the lights on this thing. What I recall from my scouting mission and from the presentation that I just showed everyone is that there's a couple of structures on our way over to the flight research station that are worth looking at. And oh my god, there's a rock down here, but I can't see it. Oh, we're gonna build up some speed now. Oh god, this... Hey! Okay, we're fine. I was a little worried we were about to nosedive, but my fears are unfounded. Okay, Google. Convert 23 meters a second into kilometers per hour.
23 meters per second equals 82.8 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, so we are not at our maximum speed. That's interesting. We're going the right way. More or less. So despite having more wheels constantly in contact with the ground, I cannot get this thing going as fast as I'd like. We might have to jet boost it because reasons. I'm expecting at some point I'm going to start seeing some of these structures, so I got to keep my eyes open. The Milky Way is just so pretty. Considering I spent all of a day building this vehicle, I'm thinking that when I saw the sun on the horizon there, that was twilight. I don't remember exactly what time it is, but I think we just started the night, more or less. This is about the point where I'm realizing I made a little bit of a tactical error, and there's no way to tell which direction I'm actually facing. The medical supply station actually has a functioning beacon at it, so that one will be easy to find once we get into range. That's nice. But this other one did not have a functioning beacon to it, which leads me to think that it's probably out of power. But I'm not seeing anything being skylined, and it was definitely prominently on the top of the hill. And it's not that. What? Picture of that for later. Ooh, that's getting kind of close to us. I don't like it. Let's get everything all folded up here. That's over there. Yeah, if I fly forward, it's going to be directly into its path. I'm going to have to turn around. God, I'm driving straight away from it, and it's still getting closer to me than I'm getting further away from it. 1 Mark 3 kilometers. Jeez, that thing's fast. Okay, holding steady distance. Wait a minute, I have a Gatling gun. No, I don't want to chance it. I do not want to chance it.